Dear students, welcome back to another session of Computer-Based Accounting lecture series. Today we will be discussing another important cycle. This cycle is called sales cycle, or how to use the account receivable module to do day-to-day activities of your business organization. So before we'll process with the today's lecture, we need to make sure that everyone is having last backup files available with you, whereby by the time we have completed a purchase cycle, we have completed how to use the inventories, and those transactions need to be already entered into the system, and you need to have the final backup file available to do the today's day-to-day activities of the customers. So to check that what is available with you and what we have completed up to now, we need to go back to our package. So if you have restored the final backup file, you can remember we started with the vendor purchase module, whereby we discussed how to create the purchase orders, and we have created several purchase orders. We can check that by clicking the purchase order button, and then we can go to the view and edit purchase orders, and there we can see we have created 3 purchase orders. All 3 orders need to be there in your list. So if you have this, that means your purchase order creation part is completed accurately. Then after that we have discussed how to enter the bills. So there are several bills we have entered during the particular session. So enter bill option, you can go and then you can click the view and edit bills option, whereby you can see the all bills. If you put the all transaction, range need to be selected all transaction, then you can see there are 8 invoices which we have entered into the system related to the purchases. Then also we have discussed in this particular module how to make the returns to the supplier. So if you go to the credit and return button and click that, and also select the view and edit credit memos, you should have 2 credit memos available for that. One applied, other one is unapplied. So these things we have completed under the vendor module discussion. Then after that, last session we discussed the inventory module. Under the inventory module, we have discussed 2 things. That is inventory adjustments, what we do, and also assembling the item, how to assemble the item. So we cannot check that from the individual buttons because it will not show you the activities. Whereby we can see the activities completed by going into the report section. By clicking the report button, if you have completed the assembly items, that means we have completed 3 activities. 2 assembly item, 1 unassembled item. So we can see that from the assembly adjustment journal entries. If you go there and double click, you can see the 3 transactions you have completed related to the assemble of items. So the first one is assembling, second one also assembling, last option is unassembling of items and returning the goods back to the stores, right? So that is the 3 activities you have completed during the last session. Other than that, we have discussed the inventory adjustments, how to make the inventory adjustment. That also we can see when you go to the certain report which is called inventory adjustment journal entries. If we open up that, so we can see the inventory adjustment. We have created 4 inventory adjustments. No, 3 inventory adjustments. So that is inventory adjustment 1 here, and the inventory adjustment 2 here, and inventory adjustment 3 inventory adjustment. Then you can see the unbilled option, which was the item return, and also you can see the vendor credit memo returns, which we have highlighted, and it was recorded in the system as well. So these are the transactions we have completed during the last session. And also the overall picture, how can we see? Up to now, we completed 19 different transactions, which we can check by going to the report and forms main menu command. From there, we can select the general ledger because all the transactions are updated to the ledgers as well. And then under the ledger, we can see this particular report is called transaction detail report. This transaction detail report will show you all the transaction you completed during the given period, right? So you can double click that, and at the moment you can see it is nothing showing here, but if you go to the option button and then select the period as all and then click OK, you will be able to see all the transaction you have been completed up to now with all the details. You can see the date, transaction type, reference numbers, ID name, or that means the customer ID or the supply ID or the item ID and the name of the particular item and the amounts adjusted. So you can see at the bottom number of transaction completed. By now everyone need to have 19 transaction. So dear friends, my dear students, you can see we have gone through the certain level of day-to-day activities by now. I hope you got a good idea of how to handle the purchase cycle as well as how to handle the inventory item. So that if you have all these things available, you are ready to start today's session. So let's come to the today's lecture. It is called using account receivable or customer, how to use the customer module, or sometimes can call sales cycles. Now let's look at what we can do here. Under the sales cycle, you can see account receivable transaction can be entered in variety ways of system using. So you can see in the account receivable module, we can start with various activity. We can start with the quotation or creation of the proposals to our customers. By giving the quotations and the proposals to the customer, they may concern and they may confirm your orders. Then after that you can send the sales orders, then you can send the invoices, and also we can accept the returns by the customer, right? So these things we can do. So if you look at this diagram flow chart of the receivable task, it's a big one, whereby you can see the how the transaction are going to interrelated and updated into the general ledger. So you can see at the top quotations or the proposals can be created here. At the time when you created the quotation or the proposal, it is directly not going to update the general ledger because you know quotation is not the complete transaction. Once the quotation is agreed by the customer, then we can send them the sales order. Again, the sales orders are not the complete transaction. Meantime, when you create the sales orders, sales order itself generating the sales orders journal entries, but these journal entries are not going to update your general ledger again because it is also not a fully complete transaction. If the customer is agree for the sales order, and then we can invoice and send the goods to the customer. At the time when you create the sales invoice, that means it's a complete transaction whereby goods will be transferred to the customer, and meantime when you create the invoice, it generate the sales journal, and intent these sales journal will directly update respective accounts available in the general ledger. So you can see how the transactions are going to be updated into the general ledger module by doing the various activities in this particular flow. And meantime, there's an option whereby once you send the quotation to the customer may agree with your quotation and he will ask you to convert this quotation immediately into the sales invoice. If you have converted this quotation, you can see this diagram. If you have converted this quotation directly into the sales invoice, that means it updates to the general ledger as well. So you can see the arrows which I have drawn here, whereby you can see in case if the quotation is converted into the invoice, then it will generate the sales journal, and time it will update your general ledger. And similar manner, customers can return back the goods to us. We can accept that. You know, there are two methods of accepting the returns: against the invoices or without the invoice. So that is open credit, whereby the both system as the suppliers credit memos, here the customer credit memos are available, whereby all the customer credit memos what you have created directly will generate the respective journal entries and update the ledger account as well. And meantime, when it comes to the payments side, we will be rediscussing these things later on. When it comes to the payments, if the customers are delaying the payment, then we can apply the financial charges, finance charge, late interest charges, whereby if the charges are attached, then that will create the journal entries and update the respective ledger account. So once the money received, that can be accepted like receipt, and meantime that generate again the cash receipt journal, and journal will intend update the ledger account. So this is the full flow of activities happening in any business organization as a cash or the sales cycle of the particular business, whereby you can learn now each of these options and how these options are going to work within the system, and how to print these quotations, how to print the sales orders, how to print the sales invoices and credit memos by using the system. So we will be starting today's our discussion by creating quotations. First thing we need to send, if you have a new customers may ask you to send the quotations regarding the certain items which your company is selling. So the customer or the prospective customers often request pricing information about the goods or services that the company sells. Generally, if you get a new customer, the particular new customer is not knowing about your profile of your company, they may ask you to send the price quotations, whereby the company need to send price quotation to their customers. So since they are not receiving any product or service, they have provided with the code. Now this particular quotation, once you create the quotation, it is not going to give in certain items or the services to the customer, right? So after agreeing only you will be providing that service. However, quotes do not affect to the general ledger. That's why creation of the quotations are not going to affect your general ledger. Now let's look at how we can access into this particular quotation window. There are two methods mentioned here. You can see we can go to the main menu, task command. From there we can select the particular option called quotes, sales orders and proposals. Those are in a one single line, whereby from that we can separately select what you want, whether you want to create the quote, sales order or the proposal. Or you can go to the customer module directly by clicking the customer and sales navigation button, and from there we can access to the separate button called quote and proposals. From there we can select the new quotes. We will see that activities now by using the package Peachtree software package. So we'll go back to the Peachtree. First option we call task command, and there you can see the first option called quote, sales orders, proposals. If you want to create the quotation, you select the quotation option. If you want to create the sales orders, you can select the sales order option. If you want to create the proposal, you can click the proposal option. So if story is to create the quotation, so whereby we can click quotation, that will open up the quote window, right? So this is the quotation window. Then the second method, if you go back to the customer module by clicking the customer and sales navigation button, then you will come to the navigation center. It's very clear. You can see all these activities are standing in the same line, whereby you can either start from here and then convert it and go by here, or you can skip the first option, you can start from the second option and continue your activities, or you can skip first option, second option, and you can straight away bill the customers as well. So some customers are not asking any quotations, not asking any orders. They want to purchase items from your invoices, whereby you can straight direct invoicing options are available, right? So that's why it is standing in the same line, whereby you can start from any point and continue with your activities. So if you want to create the quotation here, you can see the isolated button or the first button, which will allow you to create two options, new quotes or the new proposals. There are two sections, right? So you can click the new quotes, that will open up the quotation window again. So these are the two options mentioned in your handout. So if I go back to the handout, so this is the window we call quotation window. As you can see, very simple, and it's a very important one, whereby you can create quotation to your customers. Okay, so in the case, if you are creating the options, there are many activities given here, which we will look at now, how to understand the quotation window first, before we'll go and do this particular activity number 10.1, where we asked to create 3 quotation for our company. So before that, let me come to the quote window, open up the quotation window. So this is your quotation window. Now if you carefully look at the top, we can see the tool buttons, which is very familiar to us. We know all these tool buttons, what we can do. And the close button will help us to close the window. New button will help us to create a new quotation. List will show all the quotations you created during the period. Save will help us to save this particular quotation in a different location. And the print option will, you can print the quotation and send that to the customer, or you can mail it to the customer directly. You can delete the unnecessary quotations, and then you can see the convert button, save new button, very important. As you know, you can convert these quotation either into the proposals, either into the sales invoice, either into the sales orders. We can see in a process how you can convert the quotations into the different other levels. Then you can add and remove the extra or additional rows, and you can maintain notes additional, and you can see the double entries, journal entries once you enter the quotation. And these journal entries are not going to update your ledger account until this quotation is converted to the invoice. You can see that in the message. Then the events can be maintained, and you can change the layout how you want to get, and you can generate few reports related to the codes, right? So, and also help menu will help us to understand more things. And then you can see the very important is to select appropriate customer from the customer module. So that means this quotation window is directly linked with the customer module. So if you go to the drop down, you can see all the customers whom you have created within that system. When you select the customer, customer details will appear, and meantime the shipping details also will appear, ship to and also bill to. So sometimes it's the same address, sometimes it may depending on the shipping and the billing addresses what we have put. So you can see the different address may appear in the different situation, right? Sometimes it may be the same. You can see the sometimes it will appear like a same option. Now shipping address are not there for that particular customer, so you can see billing address is the shipping address. So depending on that, so we can select the various options, right? So you just select the custom ID, then the particulars will open up here, and then very importantly you need to select the quotation creation date from the calendar. So this is the date of creating the particular quotation to the customer. Then we have to tell the goods through date, expected delivery date to the customer. So if the customer's quotation is given, we can tell them this is the date we can deliver the item. Normally it will take 1 month from the date of creation, but if you want to change that, or you can do it early or late, then you can go to the calendar and adjust it, right? According to your requirement, you can adjust. Then very importantly, first quotation number need to be entered into the system. Then system will generate automatically rest of the coding system or the quotation numbers automatically by the system. And also we have learned already dropship command. When the supplier is going to deliver this item directly to the customer, at the time when you are creating this quotation, if you are expecting these goods to be delivered from the supplier to the customer, then you have to put the tick onto the dropship command, whereby we know items will be dropped by the customer, supplier to the customer, not from your stores, right? Though you have quoted these items from your prices, but the items will be delivering directly from the supplier to the customer. That is called dropship command, whereby if the transaction is happening like that, we have to put a tick onto this particular tick box. Then if you know the customer's purchase order number, we can enter it. And also the shipping method. Normally it will take the default shipping method applicable to the particular customer. But if you want to change the shipping method for this particular quotation, we can change it now as well. And also terms and conditions, we can always change. It automatically take the conditions given for the particular customer. And also if you have attached the sales rep, specific person to sell this item to the customer, we can attach that. We are not going to use the payroll package. That's why we are not creating any of these people under this category. And also now you can see we cannot see the account numbers which the debit and credit going to happen. That because these accounts are hidden. Now for example, if you don't see the account numbers here, what we can do, we can close this particular window, right? No need it. And then you can go to the option command and need to go to the global settings. Go to the global settings. There you can see the hide general ledger account. You can see the tick onto the account receivable, codes, sales orders, proposals, invoicing, credit memos and receipts are not going to show any account. Now if you want to see the accounts, what is going to be debited and what is going to be credited, then you have to make sure that tick is off and then click OK button. Now if you come back to the quotation window again, then you can see the particular account numbers are appearing. So this is your account receivable account number, which will be the debit account, and meantime this is your sales account whereby the sales items are credited. So the account numbers will appear if according to the requirements. Then you can go to the option command and adjust it, right? I hope you got the idea. If your account numbers are not visible in your screen, please make sure close the window, go to the option command, go to the global command, and then remove the tick may be there. If the ticks are there, that means all the accounts are hide. So you have to go to the hide section, remove all these ticks, and then click OK. Come back and do your activities without any problem, whereby you can see your account numbers, right? So the account no need to change actually. It is going to be always the account receivable, which will be the debit account, and meantime respective item credit accounts will appear like a sales account, whereby you need to create your quotation by selecting the items. So you should select the item, then you can enter the quantities what you are going to quote for the customer. Once you enter that, you can see according to the unit price, this is a general price, the prices will appear as a total. But you know, we have several prices for the same product. Now if you click the price unit price command and then you go to the drop down, you can see the both prices, normal as well as the special price. If you are giving this particular item as a special price to the customer, then we have to select this second option, whereby the value is changing now, right? And this is a tax code, if it is taxable or tax exempted. So depending on that, you can select whether the taxable item or tax exempted item for the system, right? And same manner, you can go to the another item. For example, if you code in another item to the customer, you enter that, then the total bill value will come. If the tax is applicable, then you can select from the option button here, rate of the tax, which will apply the tax 8% to the overall invoice, and also the delivery charges. Sometimes you may charge from the customer for the delivering the item to his location. So you may be delivering the item, you will be charging the additional charges, that is additional income to your business organization. So if you charge 2000 rupees for that, you can enter it. So you can see the freight charges will go to the specific income account. It is not going to the sales account. Now if you want to see what's happened or how this particular transaction is going to update your ledger account in the later stage, not now. So this particular transaction, if you save it, it will be saved in the system, but it is not going to affect to any of your ledger account. But if you want to see how it is updating further, you can go to the journal command and then click the journal. Now you can see how this particular transaction going to update the respective ledger accounts once it converted into the invoice. So, VAT charges will be credited to the VAT control account, Inland Revenue Department. You can see it will be credited to the Inland Revenue Department, and also you can see the blouse sales accounts will be credited, and also cotton trousers gents sales account will be credited, amount of the sales. Freight income will be credited into the specific account called freight amount or the freight income account, whereby it is credited, and also account receivable full value is debited to the customer as an account receivable because we have not received any money, and this is basically quotation, right? So this is how the activities are going to happen. And meantime, if you want to see the picture, the printout, if you want to take this printout, we can go to the print option, and then we can go to the preview the print option, whereby then you can go to the customer ID is not set, so that's why I can't see it. So let me take the customer as well, and then if you go to the preview option, whereby you can see the various options are there, just click the print preview, that will show your quotation. So this is the quotation you are going to send to your customer. So your company name and all the details, quotation number, and automatically taken quotation number is there, then the date, page number, and quotation to whom, right? So the details, other details when you can deliver the items and so forth, and all the details of the items which you are quoting to the customer, unit price and the total values. If other charges are there, all other charges will be appearing there, right? So this is the quotation which you will be sending to your customer. I hope you now got the great idea of how to create the quotation. Once you save this, this will be saved and go to the list, but it is not going to update any of your general ledger account. So I will be cancelling this one because we are not going with the activity. Now we will go to the activities and create 3 quotation for the AFMA or the BCom uh, private limited company, right? So let's look at how to create according to the given information. So first of all, we have to select the customer code GGF001. So we'll go to the quote, new quotation, GGF001 is our customer. All the detail will appear. Then the date of creation quotation is the 1st of April, that is they are automatically selected, and expected date of delivery the item 15th of April. So change the calendar, be careful, go to the month, change, and 15th. So 15th, by 15th we can deliver that, we are promising to our customer. And the first quotation number Q001, Q001, quotation number 1. Okay, so that is the first one. Customer purchase order also given to us 1341. We can enter 1341. Customer purchase order, that is the customer's purchase order which we have received. And also the shipping method, customer pickup, it's there. We don't have to change. Terms and conditions are applicable, is according to the default. No informations are provided. Then GL account, debit account is already given, but it is automatically selected by the system. And then the 2 items he is going to purchase from us. First item BL001 item, then we go to the item list and select BL, and the quantity requested 50 units and price is the normal price. So you should check the prices as well whether it is a normal price. Now you can see it's a special price, change it to the normal price. Then the second item you want to purchase SR001, that is saris. So we can select the item code SR001 and quantity requested by him is 20 saris. So we will enter and our pricing formula will be the normal price. So we will apply the normal price. So the normal price will be 3,150 and the total value come to the with the VAT it's 132,840. So you can see, and the VAT 8% is applicable, no freight charges, and that is the quotation you created for the customer. So journal entry again, if you like to see how the ledgers are going to be updated later stage, this is how it is going to update your ledger account. Right. So we have created the first one. What we need to do, we have to save this and keep it in the list. So we'll save that and it will clean the window. Now create the second one, HIF001 customer. HIF001, all the particulars will appear and the creation date is 10th of April, expected delivery date is 10th of May. So we'll go to the calendar, 10th of April, and automatically 1 month is taken and the quotation number 2 is automatically now appearing, no need to change, and you have received the customer purchase order 4441, enter that. Customer PO number, that is also entered, and the courier method is used, that is the method default settings applicable method, and the account numbers nothing to worry. 2 items again, CTL001, select the item CTL001, quantity requested 100 unit, and check the price, which price is applicable. Normal price is applicable to the customer, check that and see it is correct. So normal price, right? So the total value 135,000. Second item, okay, kid 001 100 units. So we'll go to the kid 001, quantity requested 100 unit, and the unit price need to be the normal, it's correct, and the total value will be 60. And now adding these two with the VAT, you can see 210, 600 is the total value. VAT is 8%, accounts are credit account is there, and also the freight charges, you will be delivering the item couriering you, and the delivery charges charge additional 2,000 rupees that need to be entered. So the full bill will come to now 212,760. So if you look at the journal entry for this, you can see Inland Revenue Department 15,760 VAT percentage, and the sales account, cotton trouser sales account 135,000, kids wear sales account 60,000, and the freight income account 2,000, total value 212,760 to the customer. So again, it is not updating the ledger because it's a quotation. Save and update the database. Third one, TC001 is the customer. TC001, all the details will appear. Then you can see the creation date is 17th of April. Change the date, 17th of April. Expected delivery date take a 30th of May. Again, we have to readjust 30th of May, longer period. We may not able to do that activity. Quotation number 3, automatically taken. And no customer purchase orders, no applicable method is mentioned. It doesn't matter which method is there, right? So you can keep the method as it is, what is available. And this is going to be the training customer. TC is the training customer. So you have to change the account. Now you can see the CL customer is here, and we have to change that as a training TR customer, 1160 TR account. It's a training business, right? So customer coming under the service. That's why the shipping method is not applicable. So you have delete that and you can keep as 1060, right? So that is the method applicable to the customer 1160 TR, and the item need to be selected. Training item code is a service item. We have created card for that, TAR001 training. You can see service card, professional training, and then we are expected to give him a professional training of 40 hours. So the quantity you just type 40. So that will be 40 hours. Each hour is costed 2000 rupees, and non-taxable item, tax is not applicable. Total value will come to 80,000 rupees. So you can see tax exempted right here, exempted tax, and it is going to be 2000 per hour. Normally, normal hours will appear, an exempted item, and there's no tax. 80,000 will be the total value. So again, you can look at the journal entry, how it is going to update. Professional training income account is going to be credited, and meantime customer will be debited. So click OK and click save. So perfectly completed 3 activities whereby you understand how to create the quotation. Now we can see all the quotation created by clicking the list command. Here you can see all 3 quotations what we have created. Quotation numbers 1, 2 and 3, and date of creation, which period applicable, and the customer ID, amount related to the each of quotation, and the customer name is appearing in this. So the 3 quotations are already created. I hope you got an idea how to create the quotation. And also meantime, remember, these quotations are not fulfill the final requirement. Still, you can also even edit those quotations as you wish. So if you want to edit the quotation, you can go to the particular quotation and edit it, right? So we have not given that activity, but if you want to edit the quotation, what you need to do, please go to the list, and then from the list you can see which quotation need to be edited. Just go to the particular quotation, double click and open, and change anything you like here. For example, you can add one more item, you can change the date, you can change the price, and so forth. Then make sure the new changes need to be resaved by clicking the save command. But we have not given that in your activity here, right? So, but we have given another type of activity here, converting the codes into the sales orders or to the sales invoice. As I told you earlier, we can convert this created quotation into the sales orders, sales invoice, or to the proposals, right? So we can convert very easily. That we can do by 2 methods. Again, we can go to the list command, and then we can select the quotations and then do that, or we can do that activity by customer sales module. Let me show that option. First one is the list command. If you go to the customer sales, and you can click the quotation list, whereby you can see all the quotations, right? Or if you are in the quotation customer module, and you go to the quotes and proposal, where you can go to the view and edit, that will open up the same window. So this is the option how you can access into the particular item for editing or converting purpose. පුතාලා edit කරනකොටත් convert කරනකොටත් මේ option එකට ඇවිල්ලා අදාළ quotation එක open කරලා either you can edit that or either you can convert that into the different levels. Now we have not given the editions how to edit, but we have shown you how to convert the item. So let's look at the activities given to us. We have given the activity number 10.2. It says convert the following quotation of the AFMA 2020 Private Limited. or the BCom 2020 Private Limited. So the first one, convert the quotation number 1 to the sales order. The sales order number is SO001 and conversion date is going to be 2nd of April. එතකොට පුතාලට කියනවා quotation number 1 එක sales order එකක් බවට පරිවර්තනය කරන්න කියලා දෙවෙනිදා අප්‍රේල් 2. ඒතර order එකට number එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා serial number එක order එකේ SO001. So let's go back to our list and select the quotation number 1, double click, access to the original document, and then before you convert it, now it says you need to convert this on 2nd of April. Change the date to the 2nd of April. Now you can see the conversion date is 2nd. After confirming by the customer, then you can see the button called convert, whereby you can click that and there's the options of converting. You can convert this into the sales invoice. We don't have printing option. Same option is here. Sales invoice and print now, or sales order or to the proposal. So according to the given instruction, now we have to convert this particular quotation into the sales order. So you tick onto the sales order command and enter your sales order number SO001. That is the number given in your handout. This is your sales order number. Right? You have entered. Just like that, you enter it, click OK. This particular quotation is now converted. So you can go and see it. When you go back, you can't see that particular item in this particular window in your Peachtree, but in the Sage package you can see it given the it's mentioned converted, right? So here you can't see, but it is gone. Now where is this? If it is gone from here, it is gone to the next level. You can see if you go to the sales order level and click the view command, you can see this particular order is there now, waiting for the billing. So you can see the sales order 1 converted item. You can see it is converted from the quotation number 1. Quotation is converted into the sales order. Still it is not full complete transaction, right? So you got the idea. So now it says second quotation. Quotation number 3 need to be converted into the sales invoice. Now when you convert this into the sales invoice, definitely this will update your ledger account because it is going to be the complete transaction, and the invoice date need to be 31st of May 2020. So it's in the May. We need to convert this quotation 3 into the May 31st, and it's going to go by invoicing. So let's look at how to do that. Again, we'll go to the quotation list and select the quotation number 3. That is the one we need to convert now. Double click, open, and the conversion date is going to be the month of May, and the date is going to be 31st of May. So you go to the 31st, May 31st, conversion date. Then click the convert button, right? And convert as a sales invoice, and your invoice number is given here, SITR001. SITR001, and then click the OK button. Now where is that particular quotation? You can see now one quotation is remaining there in the quotation list. All other 2 quotations are gone to the different level. Now this one is gone to the sales invoice level. So please go to the invoicing option and then click the view and edit series. You cannot see anything because it is not with the current period. So you go to the data range and select all transaction, whereby you can see the converted past due. So it is waiting for the payment now. The activity is completed, transaction is fully completed, and also you can see how this particular journal entries are updated to the ledger account. This is how it is updated to the ledger account. At this moment, professional training account need to have 80,000 of credit value, and the cost, there's no cost. You can see the same accounts are given. Cost calculation is 0 because we are providing the service, and the account receivable of the customer need to be updated like 80,000 debit. So we'll see that whether it is really updated, right? So we have completed conversion as well. Now if you go to the business status navigation center, and if you look at here now, at the moment your revenue is 0, but if you change the date period, because it's a period 1, now the transaction happened in the period 2 as well. If you convert this as a period 2, click in the period 2, click OK and say you don't want any printout. No. And again the no command. You can see updated 80,000. Revenue is now showing. There are certain cost of sales deducted because there are returns and other things, and the gross profit, and also there are some expenses because these are the damage items what you have removed and so forth. Net income currently in a highly summarized form 38,000. If you go to the income statement from here, you can see the transactions, how the related activities have happened. So these are the transactions, right? So it's a simple way of doing the activities. All these are updating accurately into the system, and if you want to change that again into the period 1, we will okay that and bring that into the period 1. And then if you have completed all the transaction, now how many transactions have been completed up to this level, that can be checked by going to the report and forms and selecting the general ledger and selecting the transaction detail report, and then go to the option select all transactions, click OK. So you can see now the new items, quotations are also added into the system, and at the end, after this session, we have completed 22 transactions. Last time it's 19, now it is added how many transactions? 20, 21, 22, 3 more quotations what we have created. So පුතාලා create කරපු quotations තුන add වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව you can see the items, converted items are there. Sales invoice එකට convert කරපු item එක තියෙනවා, right? Sales order එකට convert කරපු item එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔයගලන්ගේ බලමු අපි ඒක තියෙනවද කියලා. So where sales order convert කරපු item එක and the quotation එක. At the moment, quotation number 1 is converted into the sales order, that is there, right? And quotation number 2 still remaining there as a quotation, and the quotation number 3 converted into the sales invoice, that's the last item and for the month of May. Okay, so that is there. So if you go to the again another option whereby you can check your result, you can go to the list and go to the chart of account, whereby you can see the updated current version of your chart of account. So these are the updation as it is given for the current period, right? So always for the current period, that's why it is showing current result. So if your period change from here, then you can see the different result. Again okay, no and no. Then if I go back to the maintain main menu and select the list command and go to the chart of account, now you can see the re-updated chart of account with the new items. It's there, right? So this is how you can see the report. These reports are automatically updated, nothing to worry about that. So we have completed all the transaction perfectly. As you can see, we know how to create the quotations, we know how to convert the quotation into the different levels. So the next option will be entering the sales orders.